Welcome, everybody, to Stay Curious. I'm your host, Mark Marquette. So glad you should join us as we broadcast inside the American Space Museum in downtown Titusville, Florida. And it's my pleasure to have as a guest today during what they call the darkest week of NASA is Alan Hanstein. Alan, great to have you
Mark,
here.
thank you. Honored to be here.
Great. Alan is the executive director at the Challenger Center for Education up in Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah.
Spit that out there. And he bopped into town for celebration business as well as attending last night the Apollo 1 documentary that he and I were at. You came into the museum last week. I met you for the first time. And
what did I say about the museum?
well, tell our guests
Yeah,
what you think about our museum, your first
Yeah,
impression.
first impression was it's incredible. It's I was but had no idea the depth and breadth of the collection that you had, and the joy with how it's curated. It really was impressive, and obviously you've got a lot of Challenger stuff here that I was eager to see as well. But it really an amazing collection. The firing room and it really just well done.
Well, this is a recording because we're so busy and so forth with things going on, and Alan's got to go back to Tallahassee, but he bops in this morning, and lo and behold, there's Lowell Grissom's here.
Yeah, and
who's
what
a big friend of our museum.
What an honor and a pleasure to meet him. Obviously, he was there last night for the Apollo 1 screening, and so to see him in the documentary and then also hear his thoughts in person about Gus, who was just an amazing, true American hero. That was special. It was a special day yesterday with the Remembrance Day going into the Apollo 1 screening last night. So
Remembrance Day he's talking about is at the memorial out at Cape Canaveral, Cape Kennedy Center out there, and we just sat down. I got to compose myself for a little bit, Alan. We've been kind of busy.
It's been a busy few days, and we'll continue
to
be busy into next week, obviously.
Lowell Grissom is a charming man. You'll see pictures of him on future Stay Curious, as well as out at our. We took him out to the relief of his brother's face that he'd never seen out there at Spaceview Park. He died before we got handprints.
You could tell he was really moved, and it was a little tough to see. Right around the corner, you've got Fred Hayes's handprints. Fred's a national treasure, and still with us. But to know that that you weren't able to get Gus's. For that, it's very visible when you see the relief and you're looking around and you don't see the handprints.
Yeah, he had, of course, passed away in 1967. This was a 1999 project, but beautiful Spaceview Park, one of a kind. Alan, I've all about this is a Taj Mahal, a Roman Colosseum, the only place in the world you can put your hands on Gene Cernins and Fred Hayes and of course the man Neil Armstrong and Buzz.
I don't think enough people know about that park. I mean, even this was a hidden gem, and I'm telling everybody to come to the museum. And then I just happened, after I left here last week, I went to the park and I spent an hour just reading and walking around. It was really, that's something that everybody should see if they come down to the Cape.
It's a true gem. Part of why I moved down here and changed my life, Alan, after 35 years living in Upper East Tennessee. This really got my heartstrings.
Plus the weather.
The weather, the weather's good too. Chamber of Commerce weather today in the 80s. We know many of you are bracing for a horrible winter storm. What got me here maybe is what got you up to Challenger Center. So let's talk a little bit about Alan Hanstein and how you grew up and how'd you get involved in this?
I grew up in upstate New York.
What town?
Rockland County, town of Ramapo. Lived there till I was 18. Went to school in upstate New York, and at Fredonia, where there's lake effect snows, and not unusual to have 7-8 feet of snow by November. And I kind of was just had a couple of things happen and decided I was going to leave New York, and came to Florida State University, sight unseen. I thought it was on the beach. It's a fun story there. It's not on the beach, but fell in love with the school and the town and my wife there, and so stayed in Tallahassee. In 2002, I like many of us, like the folks that were there last night, we're space nerds. This is what we love. I've always, I grew up just outside of the city, I had the pleasure of being able to go into the city and go to the Museum of Natural History and the Rose Center for Earth and Sky. I remember seeing that giant meteorite, and all of the space
Yeah.
exhibits they had, and the Hayden Planetarium.
Oh yeah.
And so that's what I grew up with, and I loved space. I didn't have the luxury of seeing launches like all my friends who live down here, but still followed everything. And I had the GI Joe space capsule.
Oh, did you?
Absolutely. Wish I would have kept that. Probably worth a fortune now.
Well, next time you see one, it'll probably be in our exhibition
Here,
case, because I got
absolutely.
a couple in our collection that I want to bring out.
Absolutely, it's special. So yeah, that ended up getting me to Tallahassee. Fast forward, started a company, was in Tallahassee, and had a friend who was also a pilot and in Tallahassee, who knew that I loved space, and he said, "Hey, you need to. We're opening a new space themed center education. Would love to have you come. We're doing our grand opening." So this is in 2002, and through that also got to meet Norm Thagard, who was instrumental in building the center, and Winston Scott, who was at the time the associate vice president at FSU.
Both Florida, yeah.
Both Florida State alum. Very different alum. Norm, Dr. Thagard, ended up being a doctor, but was engineering. Winston, and a lot of people don't know this, was a music major.
Yeah.
And, much like, Ron McNair, as we talk about Challenger, had a love of music. And
both great supporters of our museum. Winston was just here in an event we had the other night, Win, and Norm Thagard is astronaut of the day out to Space Center. He's the pinch hitter because he can drive down here from Tallahassee.
And what a resume for Dr. Thagard as well.
His missions are incredible.
Challenger 7. So for Sally Ride, first American woman in space. Mir, first American, on a Russian rocket to Mir.
He was launched yesterday on one of his flights, which was a satellite deploy mission, I think.
So really just an amazing resume. And of course, Winston also as a pilot. Just funny sidebar story. There's a group in Tallahassee that started this astronaut challenge for high school students. And as part of that, they built a simulator. It's amazing. It's all off the shelf stuff, but it's in the back of a big trailer, and it's the inside of a shuttle. And the students, as one of the things that they do for this challenge, one of them is they take 100-question aerospace engineering test. Then they have to design an experiment that goes on the International Space Station. Then they have to solve an engineering problem, aka Apollo 13. Mm-hmm. And then the last thing is they have to successfully land the orbiter in the sim. So we have an event. We bring this simulator out in the back of this trailer, and I think I put it down in Bermuda. Everybody's having trouble with it. Some people 6-7 times. Wynn sits down, looks around, gets a feel for the stick. First time, right down at the SLF, at the shuttle landing facility.
Is that right?
Right on the numbers, right on the paint, and greased it in. And we were everybody was in awe. It's just amazing. So, okay. So now
it's like he was in the Navy. And when they say, I did 300 aircraft carrier landings, 127 at night. Which ones you want me to tell you about? Okay.
Absolutely.
They remember them. But he also was a helicopter out there, submarine helicopter finder. And that was a hairy thing to land, he said, on a smaller
rock and deck.
But we love these guys. And it's just so amazing how some of these astronauts just give so much back to the community.
Yeah, they want to see that next generation. I mean, it's why we're here. So now I've met these guys, and I and then they asked me to become active in the organization. I ended up on the board of the Challenger Learning Center of Tallahassee.
And how many of those are around the country?
So there's 33 now. One opening in Alabama this year. They're all a little bit different. They have one thing in common, which I think you've got a slide up here, that makes us a Challenger Center. Which is that space mission simulator. But we're fortunate. We've also got an IMAX. We've got a planetarium. We've got some hands-on activities. Yeah, there's the space mission simulator. So two rooms. Some Challenger facilities have multiple versions of this, so they can run more students. We've just got one. Mm-hmm. Downstairs at our facility is a mock-up of Houston Mission Control. It's a little bit updated from the picture, but the students come in. really any grade, but middle school is the sweet spot. And they all get a job: communications, navigation, life support, uh, probe. They all get a job downstairs, just like mission control. They're all in charge of something, and then upstairs they get launched into space. We have a little preview video that the astronaut gives them instructions about what they're going to do. They go through a space lock, an airlock in space,
Oh, wow.
and then they go into that room that's the spacecraft, and then they get jobs, and they're doing things like capturing a probe or a meteor. Or landing on an asteroid, all of these different things, or going to Venus and dropping a probe. They're working together. They're learning team building, problem solving, troubleshooting, hard science, soft science skills. It's just amazing. So they do that for 2 hours. An hour, they switch so that they both get a chance to experience both sides of the mission. They come out and they've really been inspired.
Wow,
so this is, Dr. Thagard was fond when in founding the center. He was fond of saying there's 3 things that kids like. And I don't think this has changed in 20 years that we've been around. Dinosaurs, ghosts, and space. And astronauts. So
Dinosaurs, ghosts, and space.
And so those are the things like
that's pretty hit it.
So we chose space. So
well, I asked you about the Challenger Centers. Now you know a little bit about what they all do. How did you become the leader of this?
Yeah. So I guess intentionally, accidentally. I was
intentionally, accidentally. I like that
still
phrase.
On the board. So I think for 20 years I was on the board of Challenger, and 3 or 4 times as chair. Long-serving board. Most of our board members have served a long time, which talks about the commitment to our organization. In 2022, our executive director stepped down, and she called me up and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know you're the second person I'm calling. I'm leaving." I said, "Oh, what is it? Something we can do? Is it no?" And you hung up the phone, and then kind of looked at my wife and told her that they had resigned, and then I just kind of looked and said, "What do you think?" And she already knew.
Yeah.
And then I called our former ED up and said, "Hey, I think I'd like to." She was like, "I'm surprised you didn't say anything the first time when I told you." So. Yeah, I don't come from this space, from the traditional museum or science center space. I come from the business world, software, logistics. I had a couple of successful companies that did event management and organization. So we did a lot of stuff for large trade shows. Over 100,000 people, BlizzCon, Activision, Microsoft, USGA. PGA events, NFL Players Association. So I had an interesting career. And what's funny is I would not ever go back after what I do now. I love what I do. We will typically have at least 2 or 3 field trips every day of the week. We serve more than 60,000 students a year.
Oh my gosh.
Across 68 counties across Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. So we go up into South Georgia, over into East Alabama, and then all the way down to Miami, really, for field trips. We had a group from the Frost Planetarium's student group come up just the other night, and I met them. And we're just stone's throw from the Capitol building, so a lot of groups will come in and they'll do the Challenger Center, and they might do the Capitol. We have a couple of other great museums and nature centers in Tallahassee, and so I for the past almost 4 years now, I've just loved what I've done.
Well, you and I are kind of the same, cut from the same cloth, as they say. We like people and we like interacting with people, and it was a joy to be introduced to you. I'm always in the museum and usually pretty busy, like you can relate to this. But when Anita or somebody comes up to me and says, "You need to meet this person," I drop everything and try and focus my attention on who's in front of you, because we get so many European guests. We get a lot of people from ESA around the centers in NASA, and then you pop up, and you've been on my radar to visit and come up there.
Please do.
As we're big here about 2 things: fellowship and partnership. And those are the main ingredients of a happy environment and people that interact. You can't do it all.
No,
Uh, you know,
collaboration is key. I've learned over the past few years is you know making making connections. I mean, I always joke that that's all I do is connect the dots.
yeah,
Uh, and thank you for really kind words. I don't think I think that's more a testament to the Challenger Network and the brand and the Challenger centers and what we stand for. When when somebody says, "Oh yeah, no, I've been looking forward to hearing more about it." Yesterday I had an opportunity through Remembrance Day to talk to several Challenger family members. And it really is, I forget because we're so busy. We're open 365 days a year. In addition to just the field trips that we do, we have facility rentals. We have a commercial IMAX theater. I think you've got a slide up about our IMAX.
yeah.
During the day, we show these documentaries. There's a few here. Blue Angels.
Oh, I saw the Blue Angels when it came out.
In
That
IMAX
is
3D,
awesome.
it's amazing.
Oh yeah,
We're the only premier IMAX in North Florida, so really it's special. There's
that
something
pays the bills. You're smart there. Okay.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and there's something about seeing a kid who, from some of these rural counties, they may never have, especially kids today, may have never been in a movie theater in their life, or if they have been,
Really?
it's a multiplex.
Yeah, I never hadn't thought that through.
And maybe the theater is the size of the room we're in now, and the screen's 20 foot. They walk into our theater, and the entrance is here. They turn to the right. Sometimes they'll turn to the left, and they'll see the seats, and it's that stadium seating, and it's huge, and and then they'll turn to the right, and it's 100-foot screen. There's nothing like it.
No, there's not.
And when you see one of these programs on it, but then of course we also have, paying the bills. We have IMAX, commercial films as well. We've had Avatar 3D in, and of course tonight we open the new Mercy film, which I'm really excited about. Depending on when this airs. So this is the new Chris Pratt film where AI is the court system and is judge, jury, and executioner. And Chris Pratt has to prove his innocence to the AI. It looks to me like a little bit of a cross between Minority Report and The Fugitive. So we'll see. I'll see it probably over the weekend for sure.
Having that right there, you become looking at your IMBD database all the time.
So we have all these things we do, and sometimes I forget like why we're there. I forget. And so yesterday, in talking to Allison Smith, Mike Smith's daughter, and realizing like why we do it. These things are all important. They help with our mission, but why we're there.
Show a slide, and then we'll have you all thinking about why we do this. But give for people that are in Florida or in the Georgia border or over there. Give us your open hours and how much it costs.
Sure. So we're open 365 days a year.
Are you really? Christmas?
If at Christmas, it's a big movie day.
Okay.
And Thanksgiving. We are an ASTC. This is a big one for a lot of people. So it's Association of Science and Technology Centers. So if you're a member of the Frost Museum in Miami or Museum of Discovery and Science, or the Bishop, or almost any museum in Florida, the Cox Museum in Palm Beach.
Bishop's over in Tampa.
Yeah, if you're a member of any of those museums, you can come visit us and get a planetarium for free. We don't charge admission. We're free for groups to come in and see. We don't have. I wish we had this. We don't have a lot of room for memorabilia and exhibits. We're building that capacity up now for members to come in. We just have a new exhibit at Florida State University. The FAMU FSU College of Engineering has their own rocket team, Zenith. And we support that team. We sponsored them last year. This is part of the NASA Rocket Challenge where they all go out to the desert and launch these rockets up to 5, 6, 7,000 feet. They donated last year's rocket to us, and we built a display around it. I love it's called Uncertainty. So appropriately named. It did not place last year, but we're excited about the team this year. And these are the future. These students will be here in 3, 4, 5 years, working at Blue Origin and Redwire and all of these space and rocket companies. I'm excited about that future.
Yeah, that's what we're excited about. We not only have people that are working there now come here, but the youth that come here. And now we're in our museum. We're trying to get more of the companies out there at the Space Center now to create a display case for those such a
I'm
things.
amazed. I saw the sticker on the back, and so many of these
Oh,
companies,
Via Space, yeah,
and,
they're awesome.
and they will provide engineers
Yeah,
that will do a Zoom with students. I mean, so many of these companies, it's like you said, how gracious the astronauts are. They love doing this.
yeah.
They want to. It's why I love
Particularly
doing
when
what
it's
we do.
kids.
Yeah,
and
they want to excite these kids
yeah.
and get them thinking about
And,
STEM.
well, I'm enjoying talking to Alan Hanstein here. He is the executive director at the Challenger Learning Center of Tallahassee, where we're building a bridge up there as our new look here and everything at the American Space Museum is about expanding our awareness through great institutions that have already solidified themselves. And we've solidified ourselves too. It's just sometimes these nonprofits don't have much of a staff, hint,
Yeah.
to execute all the things that directors like you and me brainstorm about.
So
we're grateful what we do and always willing to attract more volunteers.
I'm sure you can appreciate. People are come up to me and be like, "Oh, you guys are doing so many great things at Challenger," and I say, I've got tons of wild, crazy, sometimes terrible ideas. I just have an amazing staff that executes them perfectly.
Good.
Like this is I can't take credit for almost. We've got next Wednesday, as we might talk about here in a minute, but next Wednesday is the 40th anniversary of Challenger.
Yes.
Really, really special day for us and for the nation. I mean,
do you have any special dignitaries?
So we've got our local dignitaries, which I think are important to us, the people that support the center, local elected officials. I'm hoping that Dr. Thagard will make it. I know we've got Marjorie Turnbull. That's a name that some of your listeners might know. She was a House representative here in Florida and was instrumental in getting our Challenger Center built in something that probably would be tough to handle today. Marjorie was a Democrat in the House of Representatives in Florida who brought our Challenger Center up for funding. John Thrasher, who was the Speaker of the House, who later became the Florida State University president, was the Republican Speaker of the House. And they didn't debate for a minute before they decided that this was something that across the aisle they would both support.
Oh, wonderful.
And that is something
wonderful.
that we've got a Senate resolution that'll be read next Thursday on the Senate floor during session here in Florida that recognizes January 28th in Florida as Challenger Remembrance Day. And so it's important that we do this. But next Wednesday, we've got a full slate of activities during that day with school groups coming in doing our mission simulator and free programs, a piano recital to honor Judy Resnick, a poetry reading of High Flight by our former flight director. So you can't do these things on your own, right? I mean, you have to have volunteer and staff support because I'm
piano thing by Judy Resnick. The connection there is she was really a savant, really, in musical instruments. She was going to go to the School of Juilliard.
Yeah, I love
opted for Carnegie Mellon.
Carnegie Mellon, CMU.
As an engineer.
One of my favorite, and I'm assuming it's Adam Higginbotham's book, which I think I've seen here. A Challenger.
Yes.
Is amazing, and there's a line in there because they're telling the story about Ron McNair bringing his saxophone.
Right.
He had brought it on Discovery. I believe it was the Discovery mission that he was on first.
Mission,
but they didn't have any tape of it, and he didn't do a live simulcast, anything like that. So he really wanted to bring it on Challenger, and allegedly, Dick Scobie said. You can bring your saxophone when Judy can bring her piano. Ron didn't, but
interesting.
But it is kind of like Winston. We there's so many creative connections within the astronaut corps.
Talented, multi people at all there.
Yeah.
Where were you? I keep flashing up there. This is the Apollo 1 new documentary there. Principals were there.
It was really good. I thought.
Yeah, very good. Good.
Hard to tell that story in a human way.
Yeah. With
the families, and I think something that came out last night that people were commenting, and Mark the director was there, that you don't really get to see that home life like with real home movies.
Yeah.
The home movies in that documentary really made. And I hope that as we're I've already seen some folks saying like, man, we can't get this here in the U.S. It's only streaming in the UK right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, write letters, get on their Facebook page, support it so that we can get it here in the U.S.
Yeah, we hope to have it on there. Very good footage, of course. It was a Jerry Griffin, launch director,
Yeah.
was flight control director, was balanced in there, and incredibly, they had Chris Kraft
Yeah.
in an interview from 2013 or something like that. That was sort of the thread of the thing. Chris Kraft talking about it, but highly recommend it.
Yeah.
We'll be talking more about this, but as we're enjoying Alan Hanstein here with the Challenger Center. Of course, it's all about, and everyone will be remembering Wednesday. Where you were.
Where you were. It's
if
one
you're
of
over
those.
50 years old, of course, you were 10 years old,
Yep.
and you're going to remember where you were. And I was paying my cable bill as a traveling salesman, hitting the road, and bopped in to pay my cable bill about 9:30 in the morning. And I look up at the TV in the Warner Cable headquarters there in Bristol, Tennessee, and see the streak the explosion going on there, and I'm like going, that don't look right.
Yeah.
And then the whole day changed, so everybody's going to be remembering.
It's one of those seminal moments in American history.
It is. Time stands still on these moments, and of course, being a baby boomer, I'm talking about the Kennedy assassination and Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy and things like that. Really. Where were you?
Yeah.
And you know exactly where you were. This is going to send a lot of people back.
I think Challenger, even with I was born in '67, so my mom tells me about the Kennedy assassination. But I think Challenger was the first one where everyone was watching. Remember they had rolled these. If you were 10, more than likely some teacher had rolled the TV
in space,
and cart into the room. If and
for 2 or 3 scrubs
cable,
too. The scrubs they had
absolutely.
the day before and stuff.
And so so I think it really was that first time in our shared culture that we all saw it at the same time. It really was like a national grief. And then of course President Reagan's speech. Well, I should say Peggy Noonan's speech that night. She was the speechwriter who probably doesn't get enough credit. Who wrote in High Flight into that,
right.
as an option. She didn't even
the
know.
High Flight poem, which
yeah.
ends with
I think
it's in there.
I think she's got a reference in here to it too. For those listeners who haven't seen this is June Scobie Rogers' book. Thank you.
Yeah. Called
Silver Linings, and it's a short read. It's really sweet and special, and talks about her journey. It's interesting to hear that all the families had different reactions, and thankfully for an amazing support group, which I think NASA has does even better now. I think than for the Apollo 1 families, but it is
well, the attention, of course, that the first teacher in space got. Krista McAuliffe, the I touch the future, I teach.
Yeah.
And
it's on the side of my building. One of the things I did, I needed to put up some new signage. We're part of the FAMU FSU College of Engineering. We never had that branding on our building, so I was doing some new signage, and I asked the guy who was doing the signage. I said, "Hey, while we have the lift that we've got to rent to put that big sign up, I've got a favor. Can we do this project?" And I penciled out on the side of my building the quote, "I touch the future, I teach, Krista McAuliffe." And he's like, "Yeah, how tall you want to make him?" And I said, "Probably about 2.5 feet." And so across the side of my building is in giant chrome letters is that. And so I see it every day when I come to work, and that reminds me.
That's cool.
Why we're there.
I'll tell you something I want to put, probably not on the side of the building, but in our women's gallery that I know you enjoy.
You have an amazing, the women astronaut, and was at KSC yesterday, and it was
Bonnie Dunbar.
Yeah, Bonnie Dunbar is amazing. And
so what I want to put in our women's gallery on the wall is, you can't be what you can't see.
Yeah, we say it all the time.
Sally Ride's quote: "You can't be what you can't see."
We have a mascot,
and that's what we represent as museums, folks. Is people see things in a different way.
Yeah,
and
the past. You're seeing the past, but you're really seeing the past because that builds the future.
Just flipping through this June Scobie Rogers' book here. I mean, I get emotion about it.
Well, that's a gift for you.
This is so well done. Well, thank you very much.
if we can,
Thank you. I'll read this over the weekend.
if she's down here, I'll ask her to come by and autograph it.
You know,
sure.
My privilege to be involved with this museum, and around this January time frame, there's a different pall over people's attitudes about things. We are so busy going to the events out at Kennedy Space Center. We have one here Sunday, our astronaut memorial. There's the program for it. We have the beautiful Jan Davis is going to do the remarks. But what makes it beautiful is we have the cadets of the Civil Air Patrol here dressed up, flags. We do 21, they call it the gun salute.
Yeah.
Not 21 gun salute, but they do a gun salute. And dignitaries from city council members here and so forth.
Yeah, these are important events.
And we give a quick 3-minute bio of every astronaut.
Yeah.
And 3 times 17 is 51 minutes. So, people keep saying, Mark, you got to shorten, you got to shorten.
Well, and I mean,
how can you shorten the lives of these heroes?
Absolutely. Here? And then don't forget, other astronauts like, Clifton Lewis, who was, that's right, Clifton Lewis, who was flying, he was in that group 3, he was flying his T-38 back. Right. And I just mentioned this at a group in Tallahassee.
Williams.
Clifton Williams. Yeah. Thank you.
C.C. Williams.
But when I was looking at his bio, and it's, it's like, where it says Tallahassee, and I'm like, wait, what is this? So apparently he declared an emergency over Tallahassee, and then his plane crashed in Monticello, just 30 minutes from where I live right now.
Oh, wow.
And so I don't think a lot of people know that.
He's the only active astronaut Marine to die. And he didn't fly, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, he could have been on the moon. I mean, he was in that class. So
the stories we had last night, just incredible, but we're there to, this will be our 6th year on Stay Curious to talk about the tragedies, Alan, and we have always taken the high road. I don't even think I've ever shown images of the explosion.
Yeah.
Because everybody sees that.
No, it's not how we want to remember.
I show the icicles on the pad is something that I show. But we really talk about the people and their families and the legacy of the Astronaut Memorial Foundation, whose offices are at the Kennedy Space Center. Yeah. They're responsible for the mirror out there, and Altman's been the leader of that for many years.
That does an amazing job, and what I love about AMF is, their mission is to the mirror and to honor the astronauts, but they've also, done an amazing job with education as well. And they've got an amazing teacher event that they do where they bring teachers from all around the country in, and that facility. I mean, they do an amazing job. But when your facility is at the doorstep of the visitor complex, it's hard to miss that. What an amazing opportunity to be part of that, and then to see what you're learning.
It's certainly a great partnership. So, we're winding up this conversation with Alan here. Glad that he could pop in and record something for us here.
I'm so excited about this, and didn't think I'd have an
going to be the last time you're going to see Alan. I want you on our program as much as we can to share up there. I will personally, probably by March, think about I can have some time to come up there and visit you.
It's a great time of year.
But with the 40th anniversary of the Challenger disaster that a lot of people are going to remember, the Apollo 1 fire was in 1967, so we're talking 59 years ago. Of that horrible tragedy that I'll probably be out Tuesday on the 27th out there at the pad with the remembrance out there. And then, of course, our Columbia astronauts that had a beautiful mission in 2003, but during reentry, just 15 minutes from landing over Texas and Louisiana, broke up and ended what was been a beautiful 16-day mission. These are the hearts that we will always, and they're always in our hearts, is what I want to say.
Yeah.
How do we leave this week? Yeah, what message is the Learning Center to end our little program here, Alan? Do you want people to go away with?
I appreciate the softball question. This is great. Sacrifice, I think, is the ultimate. There's obviously inner reflection, understanding what it means to us as a nation to explore, as a people, as humanity to explore. That Thad said it, well last night. I mean, this is in our DNA, and it's the future of our planet to continue this exploration and development. The take home message that what you can do today, from my standpoint, there's 33 Challenger Centers around the country. If there's one near you, get involved, volunteer, support it, support this museum. Because this is a place where people can go and learn about these tragedies and the successes, and see the balance and how we get from one to the other. And then just get your kids involved in STEM and excite them. When they come home with their math homework and ask you to help them, don't say, you don't need to, this is not how we did math back in the day.
Yeah.
Encourage them, get them to read, get them, come visit.
Reading is really important.
Yeah, come visit Kennedy Space Center. All of these are things you can do every day. And believe it or not, I know those don't seem like they'll directly honor, these crew members that we're talking about, but that's what they would have wanted, right? They would have wanted this next generation to follow in their footsteps.
Well, that's all great advice and great message to be shared in this week when NASA's the focus and their tragedies, but each one of them, they rose from the ashes, and society was made better by the sacrifice that all these astronauts made.
Yeah. And I think the sacrifice that the family members made and make every day.
Every day. And that was a big focus of this Apollo 1 documentary that we'll talk more about. So, awesome. Alan, my pleasure to have
Mark,
you here.
It's always an honor.
Good luck with everything the Learning Center
Thank
is
you,
doing
Raj,
up
behind
there.
the scenes.
Yeah, Matthew recording this for us today. So we hope that you're enjoying this. And as usually, my outgoing way of saying goodbye to our wonderful watchers around the world is that hope that you think about these lost souls, and that their family members have continued to carry on their legacy through people like Alan and myself at our institutions, where every day we see their pictures on our walls, and think about how they're forever in our hearts and forever pioneers of the American space program.
Amen.
Until next time, I'm thanking you all for watching today. And thank you, Alan, for being here. Like I said, good luck to the Challenger Center. And until next time, I'm Mark Marquette saying I can't wait to see you again to bridge the space between us. That's my Walter Cronkite line.